This is the Chapter 2 Form and Content Analysis of Citizen Kane, directed by Orson Welles. Orson Welles was not only the director of the 1941 film, but also the producer, co-screenwriter, and the actor of the main character, Charles Foster Kane. Before going any further in our analysis of the film, we must refer to the textbook to define the two terms. Form is the means by which the subject is expressed in experience, and content, which the subject of the artwork or what the work is about. Now I am going to show you a clip from the film that exemplifies form and content, but also shows the cinematographer Greg Toland's ability to capture film. In this scene, we can see that Kane is sitting in his throne of a chair and Susan is sitting on the floor. The content of this scene has to do with Susan complaining to Charles that he never gives her anything she wants.
Sure, you give me things, but that don't mean anything to you.
You're in a tent, darling. You aren't at home. I can hear you very well if you speak in a normal tone of voice.
What's the difference between giving me a bracelet or giving somebody else $100,000 for a statue you're going to keep crated up and never even look at? It's just money. It doesn't mean anything. You never really give me anything that belongs to you, that you care about.
Susan, I want you to stop this.
I'm not going to stop it.
Right now.
You never gave me anything in your whole life. You just tried to buy me into giving you something.
Susan!
Here we can see the form, or the means by which the subject is expressed, is that Kane is demeaning Susan by the camera shooting a low-angle shot. This camera shot makes Kane look powerful and in control.
I do because I love you.
You don't love me. You want me to love you. Sure. I'm Charles Foster Kane. Whatever you want, just name it and it's yours. But you gotta love me. Don't tell me you're sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Now we see Susan being portrayed by a camera angle looking down at her. This scene is an example of some of Greg Toland's best cinematography work. Greg Toland is seen as the innovator behind deep focus cinematography. The Columbia University School of the Arts Film Language Glossary defines deep focus as a style or technique of cinematography and staging with great depth of field, using relatively wide-angle lenses and small lens apertures to render in sharp focus near and distant planes simultaneously. A deep focus shot includes foreground, middle ground, and extreme backgrounds, all in focus.
Back to the said newspapers, the said Charles...
This scene is one from the movie that exemplifies deep focus. In the shot, you will see Mr. Bernstein, Mr. Thatcher, and Charles Kane. They are signing documents that seal Kane's financial situation.
Foster Kane hereby relinquishes all control thereof, and of the syndicates pertaining thereto, and any and all other newspaper, press, and publishing properties of any kind whatsoever, and agrees to abandon all claim thereto.
Which means we're bust. All right.
Well, out of cash.
All right, Mr. Bernstein. I've read it, Mr. Thatcher. Let me sign it, and I'll go home.
Too old to call me Mr. Thatcher, Charles.
You're too old to be called anything else. You were old.
At this moment, we can see Mr. Bernstein and Mr. Thatcher in the foreground, while Charles Kane is somewhere off in the background. Each character looks as if they are on a different plane of view.
Too old.
In consideration thereof, Thatcher and Company agrees to pay to Charles Foster Kane as long as
My
he lives
allowance.
the
You will
sum of...
continue to maintain over your newspapers a large measure of control. Measure of control? And shall seek your advice.
Tim Wilson from CreativeCow.net has this to say about Greg Toland's work in Citizen Kane. His work in Citizen Kane was every bit as daring as anything else in this daring picture. Depth of field is only one part of it, but a really, really big part. and redefined what was possible for humans to do with movie cameras. Greg Toland is not only famous for his works in Citizen Kane, but also many great other films. We're going to look at a scene from The Long Voyage Home that also displays deep focus. In this scene from The Long Voyage Home, we see Greg Toland's abilities at work again. The woman at the tree on the left is in perfect focus, while the two women in the background are also in perfect focus.